course, no other woman could ease the coldness left by her vicious betrayal. He could still see her watching as he was beaten nigh unto death. She had made no sound, no move to save him. She had not even shed a tear. He shook aside those dark memories and the pain they still brought him. Lucas decided that once he had proven to himself that he was the man he used to be, he would find himself a woman and rut himself blind. He would exhaust himself in soft, welcoming arms and sweat out the poison of Katerina. Even though it was not fully a fidelity to Katerina that had kept him almost celibate, he knew a lingering hunger for her, for the passion they had shared, was one reason he found it difficult to satisfy his needs elsewhere. In his mind he was done with her, but it was obvious his heart and body were still enslaved. He would overcome his reluctance to reveal his scars and occasional awkwardness to a woman and find himself a lover when he returned to Doncoil. Maybe even a wife, he mused as he reined in before the small inn in the heart of the village. All too clearly recalling Katerina's dark blue eyes and honey-blonde hair, he decided that woman would be dark. It was time to make the cut sharp and complete. Dismounting, Lucas gave the care of Echen over to a bone-thin youth who quickly appeared at his side. The lad stared at him with wide blue eyes, looking much as if he had just seen a ghost, and that look made Lucas uneasy. Subtly he checked to make certain that his cowl still covered the hair he had been unable to cut. Although he had told himself he would need the cowl up at all times to shadow his far too recognizable face, Lucas knew it was vanity that had made him reluctant to cut off his long black hair and his warrior braids. Deciding the boy might just be a little simple, Lucas collected his saddle packs, then gave the lad a coin before making his way into the inn. After taking only 2 steps into the building, Lucas felt the chill of fear speed down his spine and stopped to look around. This was where he had been captured, dragged away to be savagely beaten and then left for dead. Despite the nightmares he still suffered on occasion, he had thought he had conquered the unreasonable fear his beating had left him with. Annoyance over such a weakness helped him quell that fear. Standing straighter, he made his way to a table set in a shadowy corner at the back of the room. He had barely sat down when a buxom fair-haired maid hurried over to greet him. If he recalled right, her name was Annie. "Father," she said.
"Nay, my child, I am nae tonsured yet,"
Lucas said, hoping such a tale would help explain away any mistakes he might make.
"I am on pilgrimage ere I return to the monastery and take my final vows."
"Oh," Annie sighed. "I was hoping you were looking for a place to serve God's will." She briefly glared at the men drinking ale near the large fireplace. "We could certainly use a holy man here. Dunlochan has become steeped in sin and evil."
"I will be certain to tell my brothers of your need when I return to them, child."
"Thank you, father. Sir. How can I serve ye?"
"Food, ale, and a bed for the night, lass."
In but moments Lucas was enjoying a rich ale, a hearty mutton stew, and thick warm bread. The good food served by the inn was one reason he had lingered in Dunlochan long enough to meet Katerina. His stomach had certainly led him astray that day, he thought sourly. In truth, his stomach may have kept him at Dunlochan long enough to meet Katerina, but it was another heedless part of him that had truly led him astray. One look at her lithe body, her long, thick hair the colour of sweet clover honey, and her wide, deep blue eyes, and all his wits had sunk right down into his groin. He had thought he had met his mate, and all he had found was betrayal and pain. Lucas cursed silently. The woman would not get out of his life, out of his mind, or out of his heart. That would not stop him from getting his revenge on her, however. He was not quite sure how he would accomplish that yet, but he would. First the men who had tried to kill him, and then the woman who had given the order. Another casualty of that dark night was his trust in people, in his ability to judge them as friend or foe. Lucas had believed Katerina was his mate, the woman he had been born to be with. Instead, she had nearly been his death. It was hard to trust his own judgment after such a near-fatal error, and an ability to discern whom to trust was important to a warrior. How could he ever be a good laird to the people of Doncoil if he could not even tell friend from foe? He sipped his ale and